on them. If you got stripes, then you let the city know you rock them. Yeah, we got them. Yeah, we fought them. Like that black and orange up on them. Bingo bottle, never stop it. To the beast and know them. Who they rockin' with the diamond stripes, flossing on the ring. Cincinnati, she's our queen. We gon' show the world who king. Orange in the day, black in the night. Stripes in our veins, sparks gonna fly. The beast is awake, orange, black and white. Cause when the jungle come alive, who day we ignite and
Welcome to Bengals and Brews. I'm your co-host, Greg Luther. With me right here is the man Chop, owner of the Chop Shop. What's
That's
up,
true.
Chop?
I do own the Chop Shop.
Well, I'm just filling in right now, temporarily, introducing. I'm not as good as Dale is. Dale is taking care of something quickly.
No, I'm here. I'm just listening. But is Greg staticky to you too, Chop?
Yes.
Yeah, Greg, your microphone's like staticky. It's like that kind of background noise.
Distortion.
Is my microphone okay now or
No.
I'll be back.
Yeah. All right. So everybody pause, rewind, and we'll be back in a minute.
Well, shout out to the Brew Crew. What's up,
Shout out to
everybody?
the Brew Crew.
Jobu, Darth, Tina, Chris, Matt, everybody else that's watching, tuned in. Good to see y'all. Messing with something and got down here a little late. So
can you hear me now okay?
Yeah, but you're still No, it's the same.
Really?
Darth is in there too.
all right. Talk again.
Hello?
Yeah, there's still just a little bit of, I don't know what it is.
What do you mean? Like it's going back and forth or?
It's just the audio, man. There's something with the audio. There's some kind of echo. Maybe if you go to the settings and put echo cancellation or turn.
Audio. Here we go. Default echo cancellation. Okay, here. Well, it's over here. Can you hear me better?
It's better.
Is that good?
It is, but now I can hear myself on the
Yeah, now they're
Yo, lady.
Oh God!
All right, whatever you just said. Unset that.
Oh my God!
What a start
there.
to the show.
The echo's gone.
Is this better now?
No.
How about now?
No, I don't. Something's wrong with your microphone.
Yeah, it's something with the mic, buddy.
All right, I'll come back one more time.
Turn your volume down.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Probably just the volume.
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah. It's a brand new laptop. He's probably upset.
Yeah, he's probably about to slam it on the ground.
It's terrible. He got a brand new laptop and the microphone's distorting.
What's up, Robert? What's up, Dustin?
If he comes back and it still distorts, we'll probably just put, Well,
I would ask if you watched any of these playoff games because people are saying they're boring, and I would agree. There's been one good game, and I know you watched that one. I don't know how many other ones you watched, but I know you watched your Commanders take care of business versus
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Thoughts on that one? Thoughts on your boy Jaden?
Destiny year, Dale. I was just wrong. I was wrong. LSU quarterback. No, I'm just kidding. But man, that's the guy. That's the team I want to win. You already know. Like, fuck all these AFC teams. Fuck them all. The AFC North, fuck them. That's our division. Don't want them going. Don't want Kansas City going. If the Bills went, whatever. But then they get one before us, so fuck them too. And also fuck the Commanders, except Jaden Daniels playing for them, so they're good.
And I like Johnny Newton. I don't know how much he did. I only watched toward the end of the game. So
hey, your boy Scary Terry.
Yeah, I do like Terry McLaurin.
Yeah. He's from Ohio
Curtis
State,
Samuel,
right?
Yeah, so it's Curtis Samuel who got a touchdown for Buffalo. He hadn't done hardly anything all season and kind of put that game away. Somebody said that Herbert is trash. And, yeah, he was definitely trash in the playoffs. Yeah. And I don't want to hear if anybody says Herbert is better than Joe Burrow, they are disqualified from ever giving a sports take again.
Right.
Don't hear that.
You have to quit. You have to wear the T-shirt of shame. Shame, shame, shame. Shame, shame, shame. Where's my bell? Make the bell sound, Dale. Shame, shame,
Ding,
shame.
Ding.
Hey, yeah.
And then can we make Greg go naked through the streets?
Yeah, Greg, you got to walk naked through Madeira.
Yes. Well, before that, is my audio finally better?
We'll see how it goes.
Say stuff. Introduce the show again.
Hello, my name is Greg Luther.
Well, when you're not excited, yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Get excited now. Do it.
Hello, my name is Greg Luther.
It's a little crackly, but it's better than before.
Yeah, I don't know why it's crackly. It's different. Yeah, the Rusty Cork hooked me up, guys. Look at this, man. Miller Lite. This little sock.
I know.
Heck yeah. So,
You know, I wanted to get you for Christmas one of those where you take the beer box and they make like the deer head that you can hang on the wall, you know, but they only do that for Busch. The fuck?
Yeah.
They only do it for Busch beer, and you don't drink Busch beer, Dale.
But shout out to my guy Drew and shout out to Rusty Cork, you know. West Side, West Portsmouth. Throwing up gang signs. So defense coordinator, Bengals wise, we can go through this. Then we can talk playoffs. We can talk Ohio State Buckeyes in the national championship. We can talk all kinds of stuff. Look, Derek pops in as soon as you mention Ohio State.
Boom.
This guy just knows.
He's got a parlay.
But I haven't heard any official interviews. We've heard Matt Eberflus, who was fired by the Bears, former Colts defense coordinator, that he is in the running. We saw that Dennis Allen, who was fired by the Saints, who we tried to bring in for an interview, his contract was actually running out with the Saints, but he stayed there. I can't really blame a guy for staying with the team that he's already at. His family's already living there. Then he ended up getting the head coaching job after being their D coordinator. But there's been no connection as far as Dennis Allen here, but he was interviewing with the Colts. Another name that's out there is Wink Martindale. He's doing a couple interviews. Former Ravens defense coordinator, coordinated to like 2 or 3 top 5, top 10 defenses. But then he had a bad year. Then he went to the Giants, and that's bad and had 2 bad years as defense coordinator for the Giants. I don't know what to think about a lot of these guys. The guy I haven't heard connected is Jim Leonhard, however you say his damn name.
Leonhard.
Yeah. Leonardo.
Jim Leonardo.
But he was Wisconsin's defense coordinator, and I would like to see him brought in for an interview. He's still a fairly young guy. He's like 40, 41 years old. When he was coordinator for the Wisconsin Badgers, first he was DB coach, then he was defense coordinator from 17 to 22. And then he was interim head coach, and then they brought in Luke Fickell, which hasn't worked out for them. But when he was D coordinator, 2021, they were first in total defense in all of college football.
Wow.
2020, 5th total defense. 2019, 8th. 2018, 41st. And 2017, his first season, they were first in defense.
Wow.
So that's a hell of a lot of firsts. And college football has a lot more teams than professional football. Now, I know it's a different league, but he's also coached with the Broncos this year as their secondary coach. So a D coordinator position in the NFL would be a step up. I would like to see him brought in for an interview. I think he makes a shitload of sense for this team. Young guy, secondary, which has had some questions, and just get him in here and see what he can do. I mean, he did pretty damn good with Wisconsin. What are you guys' thoughts? We'll start with him, even though we haven't heard him connected. Greg?
Well, my thought, I'll go. My thought is, as far as he goes, I think that I'm starting to lean, well, not starting to, but I think that one of these hot defensive coordinators from college is what we need at the Bengals. I just think that a lot of these teams are going to the spread offense and playing more like college. So I think that a good defensive coordinator from college would be good. That guy's okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, Dale, I don't watch these teams all the time. You do. I know we're not talking about him yet, but Al Golden is another name that pops up that's a college defensive coordinator. So if they're bringing in D coordinators from college, I'm all about that. But you said this guy last year was with the Broncos?
Yeah, he was the secondary coach for the Broncos last year. I don't know if he was there for more than 1 year. No, he was at Illinois the year before as senior football analyst. So his first year with the Broncos, and I mean, they made the playoffs.
Yeah.
You know, and they had a pretty good defense for most of the year until down the stretch they kind of struggled at times. But they were hanging in there early on against the Bills. I mean, they were giving them a pretty good game, holding Josh Allen, and then they just kind of broke out late.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all for bringing him in and bring someone in for a damn interview besides the guy from the Patriots. They're sitting on their hands. I mean, not just defensive coordinator, and I know that's what we're talking about right now, but who they brought in for any of these positions that are open. I know that they're probably waiting on the D coordinator for the defensive positions, but what about the offensive line?
Yeah, I haven't heard anything on any of those. And the other positions are probably waiting on the D coordinator so he can get his guys for linebacker coach and D-line coach. I will say with Leonhard, too, he's 42, and he played like 10 years in the NFL and then was successful coordinating defenses at Wisconsin and now going to the NFL as a cornerback coach. That just sounds like a hell of a guy that you look at an Aaron Glenn who didn't even have the college experience, but how he's doing for the Lions at D coordinator, played in the NFL, played in the secondary. This guy played in the secondary in the NFL. He knows his shit. I just think he would be a slam dunk home run hire, and they should bring him in and see if they can nab him. But I've heard no connection to that yet, but maybe that's why there was nothing last week, and I won't be surprised. It's only Tuesday if maybe we hear his name connected here soon.
It seems to me like they got to wait until the college players are done playing before they can even talk.
Well, this
to them,
guy's with the Broncos, so they're eliminated.
I was for the other candidates.
Yeah, for Golden and which like Wink Martindale, he's done. Golden's still going with Notre Dame. But Derek, any thoughts on Leonardo?
Well, Derek is not parked. Go to you, Greg.
I guess I'll fill in right now. My take is
he's looking hot though, isn't he?
Yes.
By the way, I think I figured out the thing. I lowered the volume on my mic, so we'll see how that goes and all that stuff.
That's what we were saying. Lower the volume on your mic.
Yeah, I lowered it down to 40. So does this sound better?
Yeah, you're not crackling.
Yeah, it's almost a little too low though. But
okay. Can we go to 48?
Let's go to 48.
We'll go to 48. All right, well, let's go to 48. 48 is the magic number.
I don't know.
Oh, man, you buzzed a little bit.
Yeah. All right, continue, though, Greg.
Yeah.
Okay. So, anyway, my take is, get the guy from college, all that, like I say, Leonhard, I'm not opposed to that all or anything. And you know what, Eberflus, I mean, it seems like we're going after and he's also known for defensive backs, so it seems like we're going after defensive backs type of D coordinator.
Thank God.
I find interesting right there, right?
Two Derek's was making my dick too hard.
Yeah, I don't understand how I can be driving down 275 and lose service. If there's anywhere in the city of Cincinnati that you should not lose service, it's going around it, right?
Well, you probably hit it on that fucking east side of it because it's the east side. Yeah, around the east side of that 275 loop, things get a little shitty. Come over to the west side, Derek. It's all working. It's all good.
Maybe
with the Senior Bowl 10 days away, I'd like to have somebody so they can have boots on ground.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Good point, Robert.
When's the Natty?
Yeah.
Next Monday. So,
I mean, maybe you have a certain individual on your brain like this is the guy that I want, and kind of the same way they did with Zach Taylor. And if that's the case, my problem is like. You went through this when you hired Zach. You dealt with the rigors of not having much time to put together all of this stuff. So why would you want to go through it again? Like, you need to get a guy in-house. Like, maybe it's not the perfect guy, but there's a guy out there that will fit the system without having to wait for all these Super Bowl or playoff teams and the national championship teams. Like, I feel like there's got to be somebody out there.
The only one I can imagine that they would be waiting on, Chop, is the one you mentioned. It's Al Golden because he was linebacker coach when we went to the Super Bowl. He's defense coordinator for Notre Dame, and they're still playing. But is it one of those things?
He coached here also during the Super Bowl run. Wasn't he the linebackers coach here in Cincinnati?
Yeah, that's what I just said.
Oh, yeah, you just said
thanks
that.
for listening. Yes.
Yeah, you're welcome.
No, it's like, is there an agreement basically in place with Golden would be the only reason? Because if you're just waiting to see if he's even interested after the national championship, then I'm against that. I'm sorry. I don't think Al Golden is that good. And he's coached in college more than anything. Yeah, he's linebacker coach, so maybe you know how much you like him. Maybe you think he'd be a good fit. But at the same point in time, I know we went to the Super Bowl. We in the playoffs, yes, the defense was great. But how much of that was Al Golden as the linebacker coach? Like, we don't know that. And then beyond that, like, I don't know, man. And Notre Dame obviously has a great defense. How much of that is Marcus Freeman? I'm not against Al Golden. We brought him up a month or longer ago. So it makes sense because the Bengals like their connections. But I also think Matt Eberflus makes sense. I think Patrick Graham, that we know we interviewed, makes sense. Like, he's a good, solid coordinator that the players respect.
Was there anything solid about Eberflus, or was it just a rumor that he was
I mean, it was one of the national guys said that he was in play, basically. Like, I don't know if that was word for word, but it was like the sentiment was he's in play for the Bengals D coordinator job, or he's like in the mix.
Maybe he's holding out for another head coaching job too. I don't know.
He's definitely not. He's definitely not going to be getting one.
You would think at least he would come here and like go through the interview, right?
And maybe he is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you know how the Bengals can be. You don't always hear everything that's going on.
Right.
We heard the other two, but that's what I'm saying. Maybe Jim Leonardo. I'm gonna have to really learn his name if we end up hiring him, because I can't do this.
It'll probably be the one. You remember because everybody had problems saying Anarumo. Now we got Leonardo.
But here's a quote on Eberflus to flip to him, because he was very good D coordinator with the Colts, had a couple top 10 defenses, turned them around quickly, which is what I think
That's
is
what
important.
We need it this year.
He was credited with instilling an ultra-demanding culture of hustle, discipline, and teamwork. Turned the Colts around from a 4-12 team in 2017 to a 10-6 playoff team, reaching the AFC divisional playoff round. Inherited a defense that finished number 30 in the NFL in both scoring defense and total defense in 2017. Turned the defense around in just one season to rank 10th in scoring defense and 11th in total defense in 2018. So somebody that could turn a very piss-poor defense into a sound, solid, good 10 to 15 unit, that's a guy that I'd be for. Now, I know that was 17 or 18, but I'm just saying, it sounds like a guy that could come in here.
Right.
And I'm sorry, I want to win a fucking Super Bowl, so I ain't trying to bring in somebody that figure it out for a couple years. I kind of want to coach it, and that's why my candidates were like Saleh, which is probably a pipe dream, Eberflus, and even Dennis Allen, because they've done it. They know what the hell they're doing.
Here's one of the deals, man, is that Al Golden makes $2.25 million. I think, and Lou Anarumo got 1.5.
Yeah, Wink Martindale makes 2.3. He's one of the highest paid D coordinators. So for Michigan, that is lightly linked, which Dustin said. Paul Dehner came out and said, don't believe those rumors. So apparently that's just smoke on Wink Martindale. But he does have a couple other interviews for D coordinator.
Let's do hope that the Bengals open up the wallet just a little bit. Just crack it open just a little bit. Pay a little bit extra to get us something good in here, because like you were talking about with that ranked number 11 in total defense, we had that this year. You know what? Destiny year. If it was this year, right?
Yeah, and his years with Indianapolis, so this is that defense coordinator before, and this is Matt Eberflus, before he took over Chicago as their head coach. So in points, total defense in points, he was 10th, like we mentioned, then 18th, which is not great, but man, we would love to have 18th this season, right?
Took that shit, man. Hell
then
yeah.
he was 10th the following season, and then 9th the following season. So 3 years out of 4, he was top 10 in points against as defense coordinator. I'm sorry, but give me that. That's
right.
That's his 4 years as a defense coordinator, and he was worst year in points was 18th.
And he did all that without Jermaine Pratt. Yeah.
Facts.
So imagine what he could do when he gets here. Blood drop.
I just think it makes sense, because even if you go, okay, well, that's points. Well, what about yards? Because a lot of people measure yards. He was 11th in yards against, then 16th, then 8th, then 16th. So never further than – we've been in the 20s almost every fucking season, and mid-20s a lot of them.
Yeah, I was about to say, that doesn't sound like no bend, don't break defense.
And who the hell did the Colts have every year, 4 straight years, that it was just like, oh, the Colts have phenomenal defense? I think they've been searching for defensive ends for a decade.
Yeah, they had that one, the one guy that played in the middle. I can't remember the name.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
He changed his name like 3 times.
The linebacker, and then they also had Buckner, right, on the defensive line.
Yeah,
but I don't even know when Buckner got there, to be honest, right?
Is that when Bob Sanders played there?
I think he was with San Francisco for part of that time.
Bob Sanders.
Yeah.
Did he play then?
Our guy Tom says with Eberflus, you have a front four that gets to the quarterback.
Yeah, we got that pretty much now.
I think Eberflus would be a slam dunk hire. I mean, I really do. I think Patrick Graham would be a good hire. And then the guy I mentioned, Jim Leonhard, Da Vinci, I think he would be a good hire.
What about
because
a
I see
reunion
him do it
of,
at Wisconsin.
What about Mike Zimmer?
Mike Zimmer?
I think Mike Zimmer is 70-some years old.
68.
He is old.
I'm just saying, and I loved Mike Zimmer. Probably what my favorite coach that's ever been here in any position was Mike Zimmer. I just loved him. I loved everything about him. What the hell did Dallas do this year on defense?
Mm-hmm.
What did they do in general with him brought back? Before that, he was at Colorado, a couple other places. Like, I know he's done it a long time, but at some point, man, I don't want to get a 70-year-old guy in here to coach my defense. I think there's other better candidates out there for right now.
Yeah.
I would be interested in everybody in the Brew Crew and Dustin to say who's their pick.
Yeah. If
who do you want? Like
any of these people, and we'll toss it. And Robert Saleh is not in consideration because we heard nothing connecting him. You cannot pick Robert Saleh as the
right. Put your pick in the chat, but not Robert Saleh. And if you want to put one in like an NFL coach, and you want to put one in like an up and coming college coordinator that might come to the NFL, I'm interested.
I wonder what Vegas has as like the betting favorite for it.
Oh, probably something last minute.
Oh, Jesus, Derek. It all goes back to gambling for Derek. That's all this man can think about. They probably have no idea because there's only 2 known interviews, and then there's a lot of smoke about all these candidates that I don't know how legit they are. Well, Tom says Robert Livingston. I'm out on that one, Tom. Sorry, buddy. Coordinated 1 year at Colorado, and it was decent compared to what they had the year before. Was here as a secondary coach, was here as a scout before that. But I don't think he's anything that's like, oh, he's going to come in, hit the ground running, and dominate in his first season.
The argument I have with that is he had a lot of talent to coach too at the DC, and I hate to say this, man, he's going to go from Colorado, from Travis Hunter and all that, to now to the Bengals. I don't know about that.
Well, I mean, it's also Colorado in the Pac-12. You know what I'm saying? It's like
bring in Deion Sanders, man.
Yeah, hey, the Cowboys want to.
Stop it.
They can keep the fucking circus.
Chris says he would rank them Eberflus, Allen, Graham, then Golden. And, I'm probably somewhere close to that too. And I tossed my guy, Jim Leonhard, Da Vinci in there as well. That would be very high on my list. I mean, honestly, Eberflus makes a lot of sense. I might have to put him 1, but I think Jim Leonhard, Da Vinci might be number 2.
I thought it was Leonardo DiCaprio.
It could be. That could be the guy. It's the Bengals way of fighting off the Taylor Swift thing that they got going on in Kansas City. We're just going to bring Leonardo DiCaprio in here.
Yeah, and Wink Martindale, man, I'm just out on. Maybe it's true, maybe it's not true that he's interested. Yeah. I don't know. I tend to believe Paul Dehner if he says don't believe the rumors. He is interviewing a couple other places, but like I said, he makes $2.3 million at Michigan. 1 season at Michigan, 2 at the Giants. Man, they were not good with the Giants. Like with the Giants, they were 25th in yards, 27th, and his last season with Baltimore, they were 25th in yards. And that's the one we all remember with Joe Burrow putting up like 525 when he ran his
because of his dumb fucking ass was like Joe who, and he's talking all that shit. So
I will give him this. Before that, he had a great 3-year run with Baltimore as D coordinator. 2020, they were 7th in yards. 2019, 4th. And 2018, 1st overall in his first year as D coordinator. I don't know who he took over for that year, but they are known to have good defenses. But still, he kept that thing humming at least on the defensive side of the ball for 3
and maybe
years.
that's the problem with defenses now is like you can't have a guy that is like these retreads because people figure him out. Like Wink Martindale, the whole "you can't zero me" thing. Like it's just after Joe Burrow figured him out, he couldn't do shit against him.
Yeah, I was going to ask, wasn't Joe Burrow the one that kind of called him out in that press conference when he's wearing the Santa Claus hats? When he said something like, "Let's not put Burrow in the Hall of Fame yet" or something, and was he the defense coordinator for the Ravens at that time?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the game I'm talking about.
Torched his ass.
Burrow had like
Yeah.
525.
Yeah,
I mean, and somebody had told, I don't know, on Twitter, James Rapine or Joe Goodberry, one of them, that same thing. And they're like, how many Burrows are in the league? And that's true. But you still are a fucking moron to open your mouth and talk and say shit like that. That it doesn't matter who the quarterback is. I'm just a person that's like, shut your fucking mouth and go about your business, especially
He's the
when
Eli Apple of coaches.
the players are going to talk. Let the players talk. The coaches should just get in there and be serious and get the job done.
Well, I also think, too, like you look at his last 3 years in the NFL as a defense coordinator, and he was in the bottom tier of D coordinator. So if you're talking about figuring him out, I'm sorry. I don't want a guy who was like 25th or worse. Three straight seasons his last 3 years in the NFL as defense coordinator. I just think we could do better than that.
I realize now that it's probably Wink Martindale's probably our new D.
Yeah, we're gonna hear it like as soon as the show ends or during the show. It's gonna be like Wink Martindale hired as the Bengals defense coordinator because I don't know, that one doesn't excite me as much as even like just an Eberflus, a good solid guy, Leonardo da Vinci, who was able to turn things around at Wisconsin real quick and have number one defenses in college football is pretty special. I loved him when he was there. And it kind of surprised me he didn't end up being the head coach full time for them. But some guys, they're just meant to be coordinators, and he was a D coordinator and doing a hell of a job. And I think that's what he's going to be, whether it's here or somewhere else. I think he's going to be the Aaron Glenn here in a few years after he cuts his teeth as a defense coordinator in the NFL a few more seasons. I'd like it to be here with a couple Super Bowl rings, personally.
Yeah. Yep. You want to see me act like every Bills fan when they drafted Josh Allen? Hire Wink Martindale.
You're going to go through a table?
No, I don't think there was one Bills fan that was happy when they drafted Josh Allen.
I'm sure there were some, but there's some videos of a lot of them.
Well, then if they do, I hope it turns out the same.
Yeah.
No shit, man. Wink is probably I wouldn't say he's at the bottom of my list. I guess if they're going to hire my neighbor, fucking Redneck John, he's below Wink, but Wink is pretty close to the bottom of my list. Him and then Redneck John next door.
Chop, it's always at the top of my list. Midwest Best Barbecue.
Fuck right it is.
The show, along with the Chop Shop, always at the top of my list, all the time, 24/7.
Make the Bengals great again. That's what our new D coordinator needs to do.
Yes, yes, he does.
Make the Bengals great again.
And just don't go try to rename Gulf of Mexico.
Yeah. Give that motherfucker Gulf of Pluto. I don't give a shit. I love your vacation there.
Wait. Speaking of renaming, is Paycor Stadium going to be renamed Paychecks, or have they discussed that? I know there was a discussion about that or something.
I don't know.
I have no idea.
I think there's a very good chance that that Mike Brown might have just fleeced Paycor because he might have known something was happening where he could name it Paycor Stadium for a little bit and then get the naming rights back.
Well, they signed a long-term agreement, so
was it long-term? I couldn't remember how long it was.
Somebody I thought said like 15 years.
Oh, shit.
So, I mean, they may keep it Paycor. It may become Paychecks. It may become Pay Your Dad, Pay Your Mom, Pay
Might be Pork Chops if I figure out this deal with the shirt shop sponsoring the Bengals.
I say they just name it Pay Chase.
I'm in negotiations right now.
Pay Chase Stadium and the Pay T entryway. Gate
so Derek, we talked a little playoff NFL. I know you're a gambling degenerate, so you were probably pins and needles watching these games. What was your thoughts? To me, pretty boring. I agree with a lot of the Brew Crew in the chat. It's pretty boring overall weekend. The Washington game was fun, and that was about it. I mean, a lot of not so great. I expect this next weekend to be a lot better. A lot of good matchups.
Especially Saturday night's going to be your fucking NFC championship game.
But what are your thoughts on the games, Derek?
Honestly, I kind of had the same thoughts and I've heard a couple analysts talk about this throughout the week. I'm okay with going back to 6 teams, man. Go back to 6 teams. Top 2 teams get the bye because that 7th team, it's like they get boat raced every single year. And I don't know. I didn't really like this week.
Well,
This coming weekend should be really great.
Maybe it's the first year too with the expanded playoffs and they're figuring shit out. You guys are into college way more than me, right? So You know more about it, but I mean, what's the problem? There's more games, right? We get more
Right,
games.
and that's what I was always for, more games for college football, because I thought 4 was just way too little. But I just think I don't know. It seems like every year there's only like a handful of teams that are actually playoff, and when I say playoff contenders, I guess I should say Super Bowl contenders, and then
Yeah.
the rest of them are they're
Yeah,
just
but there,
mediocre.
No, the
one of
games.
these one of these times, one year, one of these colleges like UC and I'm just using them for an example. I'm not a UC fan, but is going to have a chance, and it's a possibility that a school like UC could get in there and make some noise and they could have luck on their side and win a national championship. So I kind of like it because it gives these smaller schools a fighting chance. If you got a good program,
No.
you go undefeated in your.
How do we get to college football? I thought we
I
were
don't
talking about
fucking know. You
We
said
was-
college football and
We
gambling.
was
and
talking
Derek
about
went off.
NFL.
We're talking about the NFL playoffs.
No,
Yeah.
in my opinion,
The
NFL
7th
playoffs.
seed, I will say this.
Yeah,
If the 7th seed was the Bengals, we would be glad there were 7 seeds.
Right, that's what I was thinking to myself.
I need my medicine.
yeah.
But
I need my medicine.
But I mean, let me ask you guys this: with the exception of the Washington game, this is the most dullest NFL playoffs I've ever watched in my entire life.
Something wrong with me.
Oh, and it pissed me off too, because the first four games I was hitting parlays left and right, and then after that it was like I must not know football, because the teams I thought would freaking boat race everybody got boat race.
Derek just hates it because if the bets don't go his way, then the playoffs are horrible. So remember
1,000%.
Remember that, NFL. Make sure it goes Derek's way.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
No,
Yeah.
I got to tell you, that game last night, there was no doubt in my mind the Vikings were going to pull out the win. And when I woke up this morning, I'm like, what the fuck happened?
Did you go to
Kirk
bed
Cousins.
before the ball even got kicked off?
Kirk
Yeah, I
Cousins,
didn't
man.
watch it.
No. Sam Darnold, dude.
Dude, Sam Darnold and fucking Justin Herbert, I hope that they got their roommates in Cancun right now.
I mean, Herbert's a lot better than Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold was getting way too much hype. And listen, they had a great regular season record. But Sam Darnold turned back into, I don't know, Sam Darnold.
He turned back into a
He's
blumpkin.
the same guy that got drafted number 2 overall, too high by the Jets. He's the same guy in college at USC. I believe, Derek, didn't Ohio State play them in a bowl game or something, the Rose Bowl? Beat the 11 breaks off of Sam Darnold
Freaking
right before he
destroyed
went to the NFL. And when I watched that game, I went, oh, shit, this guy is not going to be very good in the NFL.
Yeah.
Well, they
Just
got
not.
McCarthy next year. Your boy from the Big M. Whatever.
Yeah, JJ
team up north.
McCarthy. Yeah, and Darnold just can't handle pressure, and we saw that last night, and kudos to the Rams. I seen somebody saying this earlier, oh, well, Bengals fans were like, they mortgaged their whole future for a Super Bowl. How can they, they won't be able to sustain bullshit.
Yeah,
they have
pretty quick in the damn NFL with good drafting. And they nailed the fucking draft with 2 defensive linemen. Bengals, are you listening?
That's right.
A defensive tackle and an edge. An edge and a defensive tackle is how it went in the draft. 2 guys out of Florida State that are just freaking studs that we all knew was going to be studs. Jared Verse and who's the white boy?
Brandon Fisk, is that right?
Yeah, Braden Fisk. I mean, just a good draft, and McVay is a good coach. I mean, you got to give it to him. And they drafted a bunch. Guess what else they drafted lately? A bunch of fucking linemen, offensive linemen. They got a good line. It's not fucking difficult.
That's crazy talk.
Draft
Dale.
the trenches.
You mean
fuck
once
them
you lose
trenches,
Andrew
man.
Whitworth, you can actually improve your line after that?
They invested especially in the interior O-line. Wouldn't that be nice? Through the draft.
Oh, yeah.
That is something.
That would be nice, although I don't want pick 1 and 2 to be guard.
Well, I think you need one veteran.
I need number 2 guard. I'd take number 2 guard, but
I mean,
1.
they've invested 3rd, 4th round picks in guards. Second round pick like Steve Avila a couple years ago. I mean, they just invest in the positions that ultimately are going to make a huge ass difference, especially if you can get yourself in the playoffs. It's the reason we didn't win a Super Bowl, was not having the O-line.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I don't know. I'm hoping that the Bengals get the fucking message and go out and hammer those needs, because you need to do both. You need to do it in free agency and the draft. You do that, you get a competent defense coordinator, and you're on your way. You're right back in the mix.
That's what somebody was saying to me, like something about the season's over. What do you do now? They're like, you still doing shows? And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, what are you talking about? Like Bengals? Like season's over. Well, season's over. So this is where it gets interesting, because now we're waiting to see what's going on. We got a lot of moving pieces right now. Pieces moved out, and we need pieces to move in. And we're all sitting at the fucking edge of our seat waiting to see what the Bengals are going to do on this, to see if we've been bamboozled. They have another shot here to tell the fans, like, you weren't bamboozled. We're making efforts to win, and we're going to show you, because we're bringing in this defensive coordinator that's real hot, and we're going to pay him fucking over $2 million because he's valued. We value talent. So you got a shot here to win back the pork chop, Mike.
Yeah,
Brown.
and it can go right back to our last show. Look at all the cap space that they can have with 4 to 6 cuts that we discussed on the show. They could have 100.
Coaches don't count towards
like
the cap.
$110 million.
Do coaches count towards the cap?
No.
So you can just go pay a coach $100 million fucking dollars, and it doesn't matter, right?
Right.
Boom. $100 million,
owner.
Mike Brown, with your goddamn $5 billion ass.
Yeah.
Let's go.
You can allocate more than $1.5 million to a defense coordinator. You can say, I'm going to give you $4 million, Robert Saleh. That's the best offer you got out there.
That's right.
Come and do this. Turn this thing
Just
around.
give us the
I hope you
checkbook.
get a head coaching job after, because that means you turned this around as my D coordinator and had us kicking ass on that side.
Yeah, look, man, I don't need a D coordinator that's going to come here and help us win 10 Super Bowls. I need a D coordinator that's going to come here and help us win 1 fucking Super Bowl. 1.
I don't know why they think it's so damn difficult, because really not.
I don't know, man. Give us the checkbook, right?
If you're going to fire Lou, you got to get – and listen, it doesn't have to be Robert Saleh. It can be Matt Eberflus.
Right.
And maybe you get him for $2 million, but you got to be willing to pay him $2 million instead of $1.5 million. Or
right.
You can't have like, we're set at this number and that's most we're going.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, fuck you.
You get what you pay. You get what you pay for.
Yeah. Word on the street though is there's a D coordinator out there named Drew Garrison. Also had an undefeated season.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, with the Pee Wee football. So he's up and coming.
You probably only have to pay him garage beer.
That's right. You'd only have to buy him garage beer.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
That's a fact.
Keep the fridge stocked.
You can buy a lot of goddamn garage beer with $1.5 million.
Yeah.
What else? Anything else NFL you guys want to talk about before I let Derek be a Buckeye homer?
Yeah. Lou Anarumo is clearly getting interest out there, from Indianapolis and Atlanta, which I'm sure Jesse Bates would be happy with. I mean, what's your guys' take on Anarumo, right? I mean, I wish him nothing but the best, obviously.
I wish him nothing but the best, as long as he doesn't coach in the AFC North or the Kansas City Chiefs.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I wish him the best.
I mean, we said, he'll probably get another job. That Atlanta job has not been a good one. I don't feel like the head coach ever feels very comfortable there. Defense coordinators can never feel very comfortable there. So, but I mean, we've seen Lou be able to cook things up when he had a Jesse. I would almost like to see him end up in Atlanta. One, they're in the NFC, so cool. Go ahead, do your thing, and we'll get to see it. Now you can't say, well, if he only had a Jesse Bates, he would have Jesse Bates again. So let's see what he does.
Well,
I just want to see it. And it's no hate on Lou. I appreciate everything he did here.
The Atlanta job could be kind of appealing, though, because that division fucking has been like the shit division of the NFL for a while. I mean, they had people getting into playoffs with a losing fucking record.
Yeah. All you have to do is
beat
Baker Mayfield, and you're in the playoffs, basically.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So that might be a good division to go to, because it's not hard to get into the playoffs every year. All you got to do is beat 3 other teams that also aren't really all that great. So, and if the head coach is on the hot seat all the time, maybe that's also appealing to Lou, because maybe that gives him his chance to show what he can do as a head coach. If for some reason they get rid of the existing head coach and he would do interim.
Robert asked for some names. Guess it'd be a good time to plug the Project Game Day Draft Guide, $5 donation. Then you can get all the damn names you want. Been updating that
That's
sub
true.
bitch this week, so probably send an update out Friday to everybody who has purchased one. So one time $5 donation to Project Game Day, Venmo if you got it. But so there's so many it's just hard for me to say, okay, I'm going to name X, Y, and Z amount of, and we'll do so many more shows, Robert, and we'll get into the draft a lot more coming up and break all that down more. But give me your best case scenario first 3 rounds for the Bengals. I want to say positions because there's so many names. Yeah. You never know who's going to fall to where. But I think if you walk away from, and you never want to force, a need into a round. That's a way to get lesser players sometimes. But I think a lot of this will align. I just really do. I think if you walk out of the first 3 rounds and you've upgraded at D tackle, at edge, and at guard, doesn't have to be in that order. Can be any order, mix and match that however you want. If you can upgrade those spots with your high capital picks, your high value picks, your top 3 round picks, then I think that would be a really good start, a good draft. Now, you have to pick the right players, but I think there's going to be a lot of players. I mean, first round, Walter Nolan, that's a name to give you. Kenneth Grant, that's a name to give you. Those are D tackles that I think could be there at 17. If it's an edge at 17, maybe a Mike Green from Marshall. Everybody's on the Jack Sawyer bandwagon because of the Ohio State and he's just had a hell of a playoff run. I do think maybe he's a fringe first round guy now, where I had him in the second round before this playoff run. Because of that, I'm not taking him at 17. I'm sorry, I'm just not. That's too high for me. Maybe a trade down, I consider him. So there'll be guys. I think they'll be interested in Nick Scorton from Texas A&M, previously Purdue the year before that with 10 sacks at Purdue. A little less production at A&M this year, but still a good pressure rate. He fits the Bengals type of like 6'4", 280. For me personally, I don't give a shit about the size profile.
I don't give a fuck.
Just give me a guy that can rush the passer. And that's where a guy like Mike Green from Marshall had like 17 and a half, 18 something sacks this year from Marshall. One of those. And you're like, well, Marshall don't play anybody. They played Ohio State. He had a sack against that. I clipped up that. That's on X, on our Bengals and Bruce Twitter. But, that's just a little draft talk. But there's a lot of guys. There's a lot of Buckeyes. The Buckeyes will be playing in a national championship Monday against the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Derek, first off, Texas-Ohio State, hell of a game. I feel like Ohio State fan base, which tends to do this, I'm a member of that fan base. They get like, we got that one. We beat Oregon. We got that. No, Texas is good. They're loaded with talent. I tried to say that. It's going to be a damn good game. Had Ohio State pulling it out? They pulled it out. But damn good game. Could have went either way. Derek, what was your thoughts on that game? Thanks, Greg. Greg says go Irish.
Yeah.
Come on. There's no chance. I knew Ohio State was going to win that the whole way. There was no doubt in my mind at all. I didn't text you guys about it one bit, about us being washed or done or anything. I had all the faith in the world in our Buckeyes.
Yeah, Mike Brown definitely has money, Dave. I agree.
Hell of a game. Like you said, Dale, I think Jack Sawyer's easily. I know you said you had him as a fringe, but I think he has efforted himself into being a first-round pick, and I think it'll definitely show up once the combine rolls around too.
Well, it's not he wasn't getting home all the time, Derek, but his pressure rate was like 34%,
and that's
on true pass sets. That is an insane number. That is higher than Trey Hendrickson. I know it's college and NFL. Trust me, it won't be that high in the NFL. But that is an incredible number. It's like top 2, 3, 4 in the country at edge of all players at edge. So he was getting a lot of pressure all season long. He wasn't finishing. He wasn't having the splash plays. And we've seen him in the playoffs. And I think he's going to test well. I don't know how elite he'll test, but I think he'll test well. He was a damn basketball player as a freshman, one of the best basketball players in high school as a freshman, as a true freshman playing varsity basketball in Ohio. So I don't know. He's a good player. I'm not saying I don't know, man. I'm not there yet. Maybe after Monday I'll be there for 17.
Yeah. But yeah, what I enjoyed more than just watching our Buckeyes annihilate the competition like they always do but I just enjoyed watching the NFL talent on the field out there, both sides of the ball, man.
Oh man,
You know,
stacked.
watching that
They're everywhere.
that freaking that running back has, I think, what's his name, Bird or
Jaden
Blue?
Blue, who did declare,
Yeah.
I thought he should have went back. See, he can catch the ball out of the backfield, but I'm telling you, this is a stacked running back class, and he ain't gonna be near the top of it for me.
But that's not like what I'm excited about is that guy being a guy like an Alvin Kamara, who everybody says, like you said, Dale, you thought he should have, and he'll end up being a 5th, 6th round pick probably, but just absolutely goes off in the NFL because of the talent alone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just thought that there was a couple guys out there that just looked like they belonged for sure.
Well,
Is
one
it
guy
Captain Jack.
I had to add to the draft guide already because of he been playing really well, and I needed to add him was Texas D tackle Vernon Broughton. Everybody's talking about Alfred Collins. No one's talking about him. He ended up having a sack in that game, and honestly been one of the best defensive tackles throughout the playoffs. So Vernon Broughton's a guy who will be in the draft guide. Yeah, they got 2 big boys, Alfred Collins and him. Both are draftable players. Mid-round type, 3rd, 4th round guys, in my opinion. There
was one play, and I can't remember who it was. Which one of those?
It was probably Broughton. He's the one who had the sack.
Yeah. That sack, he just freaking blew. I have never seen a big boy like that with that quickness. And maybe it was.
Excuse me, here I am.
You got to think last year, man. Him and Collins were rotational guys behind Tavondre Sweat and Byron Murphy, who were both basically 1st-round picks. I know Sweat went early 2nd, but they were playing behind 2 absolute studs, and they are studs in their own right, and they stuck it out and stayed and balled out this season as 5th-year seniors.
Yeah, that was a great game all the way around, especially the way it ended.
Yeah, and Colin Simmons, the freshman edge, hell of a player. You know, he's not even draft eligible for a couple of years like Jeremiah Smith for the Buckeyes as a wide receiver. So, I mean, just honestly stacked. What's up, Chop?
Okay, I'll tell him. Matthew McConaughey said, fuck off.
Fair.
Yeah.
Hey, shout out Matthew McConaughey, though. He was dapping up the best damn band in the land, the Ohio State band, when they were coming off the field. He was dapping them all up. That's cool.
All right, all right. What round?
Another
Robert
guy.
We talked about Scattaboo before, but didn't you say Dale? He's probably like 5th round?
No, I think he's earned his way up to day 2. He's a fucking dog. So I'd say third round for me is probably where you'd have to take him at the.
Do you think that 3rd round's going to end up being a reach for that guy? I mean, because I know he put on that
played
show
this year
in the playoffs. He put on that show, but
he did all season, really.
Did he really? Okay. After you went back and watched?
Yeah, Sacramento State, and then he transferred to Arizona State. Stud. Go ahead, there. You had somebody else.
Yeah,
Sorry.
One guy, and why I asked you, just watching that game was Cody Simon, man. Like, I know he was a converted safety to linebacker, right? And I think he's a guy that I think once he gets more comfortable in that position, I think in the NFL with having like a special teams role, and I think he'll end up being a very good player.
Yeah, and I think he's, I still think he's day 3, maybe 4th round.
Yeah,
he might have earned him,
right.
Worked his way up there. But I mean, he's got like 7 sacks on the season as a linebacker, so he can do that. He can cover. On their first 3rd down, he was the one in coverage, So it's like he can do a little bit of everything. And he's a guy who's waited around. He's a 5th-year senior. He's been in and out of the starting lineup in years past, but this year he got the block O, which is like a designation for like a leader on your team. So he's a team captain. Bengals love that. Not saying they'll take this guy, but Cody Simon has definitely earned himself some money with a great season, and needs to have one more great game if the Buckeyes want to beat Notre Dame.
Yep.
Yeah, speaking of that team captain stuff, I think that they might have learned their lesson this year when they went after Burton, who had character issues, and then it seems like allegedly they got burnt.
Well, and the draft is always littered
Yeah.
with team captains. You know what I mean? Like, these are the best of the best. They're the team captains because they're leaders of the team and they're good football players. If you're not a team captain almost, that's definitely telling, I think, in college football.
Yeah.
Yep. I agree.
Yeah, what else you guys want to talk about? How about Notre Dame? You want to talk about Notre Dame? You want to talk about anything like that, Greg? Your favorite team, Notre Dame?
My favorite team. That's my brother-in-law's favorite team, actually. Actually, my brother-in-law and my brother no, they're not going at each other, but it's interesting right now. So, what is Notre Dame's biggest threat, Dale? What is my Irish's biggest threat right now? Like, what does Ohio State fear the most?
I mean, I think they have a great defense. They have a great, they usually man coverage. I think the Buckeyes would love for them to man cover them just because Jeremiah Smith and Egbuka and those guys are freaks. Really good players. But at the same point in time, that's a great secondary. So I think it'll be, Xavier Watts at safety, Christian Gray, who's not even draft eligible at corner. They got another young corner that's not going to be in this draft, but probably the next one that's played really well. Aiden Schuler's another safety. That's like a redshirt freshman. So, I mean, they're stacked. And Benjamin Morrison's not even playing. He'd be a first-round pick at corner. So I think their secondary is going to be very good on the defensive side of the ball. Then on offense, I think the biggest threat's the run game. And it's not just Jeremiah Love at running back. It's Riley Leonhard, who is basically another running back. Yeah, he's the quarterback. Yeah, he can throw the ball. But he hasn't had over 250 yards in a game all season passing. But what he can do is run the damn football. And it'll be containing the run game for the Buckeyes defense. And it'll be getting the running game going for the Notre Dame offense. And then it'll be – I mean, you can run a little bit on Notre Dame. They've been stout all year, but Penn State ran on them. But I think ultimately it's the matchups at wide receiver and secondary for the Buckeyes when they're on offense and Notre Dame on defense. I think it'll be another good game. I do.
Yeah. Yep.
I just wish Fickle would have gone to Notre Dame and we could have had Marcus Freeman at UC, but
it wouldn't have lasted long.
It wouldn't have lasted long. Let's face it, that wouldn't have lasted long, but it would have been nice though.
Y'all can have Brian Kelly back.
You can. He is worn out, Chop man. He is worn out his welcome at UC and now Notre Dame. Don't, Chop man. Good luck if he does that to you guys again. It just says, "I'm staying here." Oh, I'm leaving.
I will say this: right after Brian Kelly leaves, the team he leaves does even better. Like UC did even better with Fickle and Freeman, and then he left Notre Dame, and now they're doing better with Freeman.
Yeah, that is true.
Yep.
So
don't
Chop. I bet you hope he
Chop,
leaves
though.
LSU.
And I didn't even before I knew that stat, Dale.
No, Chop. I want to root for LSU because of Burrow and all that and stuff. But if he leaves LSU, I'll really be a bigger fan.
Well,
I was about to say,
man.
you don't have to worry, Chop, because he'll get you guys doing decent. You'll make a bowl game. You'll be looking great, and all of a sudden he'll be like, right before the bowl game, see you later.
And Chuck, he's from Louisiana. He talks Louisiana perfectly, right?
Dude, that guy is the first citizen of Louisiana. Yeah.
Bro, he's
biggest fraud in college football.
Yeah, he's definitely special.
It's my coach, though, man. Family. We're family. Family.
I mean, if he can't get a good season next year out of LSU, he should be gone.
Yeah.
With Perkins returning
and
Nussmeier returning.
Yeah, and Weeks, came up when Perkins was off the field. Weeks showed out. So
you guys have cleaned up in the transfer portal. You guys in Oregon, to me, have really dominated the transfer portal.
They need to do what you said with Perkins, though, and go the way of Abdul Carter was also a linebacker and moved to defensive end and fucking took off. They need to do that with Perkins.
He needs to bulk up about 10 pounds of muscle, and I don't know why you can't do that. You're at LSU.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey, Dale,
just eat you some Creole.
I got to tell you, though, if you watch that one of these shows that I've watched with Joe Burrow, he goes through the LSU facilities. Dude, it's better than you saw what they did to the Bengals locker room, but that LSU facility, it's fucking crazy. Crazy.
There's a lot of colleges.
There's a lot of them.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. What the fuck, man?
Yeah.
Hey, Dan, when does Chris Henry Jr. come to Ohio State? Is it next season coming up?
No, it won't be. He wouldn't be playing
No.
next year. It'd be even another, and that's if he
Following
sticks
year.
with a commitment. You know, when a guy commits
Yeah.
so early, you almost never expect him to
Right.
actually
Where did
make
Chris
it there.
Henry go to college?
In West Virginia.
West Virginia.
Mhm.
So I wouldn't be surprised if he goes
And
to West
Rich
Virginia.
Rod is back.
And
Well,
where
no,
did
no,
Pac-Man
Yep.
go to college?
Well, another wide receiver you take, but maybe LSU's trying to get Chris Henry Jr.
Oh, I'm
could
sure
be.
every team's trying to get Chris Henry
Yeah.
Jr. because he's going to be a freak just like his dad was. But he's
Yep.
actually playing high school football now out in California, so those teams are going to be all over him. The Oregons, the USC's,
yeah.
all those
Oh, yeah.
schools will be right there.
He's
in it,
probably
too.
he's the highest paid high school football player in the country right now.
Did Pac-Man also go to West Virginia?
Yes.
Dude, come on. His dad went to West Virginia. Pac-Man, who raised him, went to West Virginia. I wouldn't be surprised if all of a sudden this kid was like West Virginia when it comes down to it.
Yeah, but when you're
Yeah.
like top of the
Yeah.
top like that, a lot of times it's like, I mean, right now, the way like LSU, for example, minus Kyron Lacey.
Right?
But the way LSU and Ohio State are just churning out guys.
I understand that, but it didn't hurt Genty, didn't hurt his stock playing for Boise State. It didn't hurt Sauce Gardner playing for fucking UC.
No,
Well,
there's
Sauce Gardner was not a
exceptions,
highly-
but also
Right.
now it's the NIL era too.
You're right.
Mhm.
Sauce Gardner was not a he was like, wasn't he like a 2 or 3 star?
He was a
recruit?
walk-on at UC, I think,
Yeah,
Sauce
so
Gardner was.
That's different. I mean, Chris Henry Jr. can go wherever the hell.
Yeah,
he
he's a
wants.
5-star anywhere, and he's going to get a bag wherever he
No,
goes.
I'm just-
now, hey, maybe
The
West
point
Virginia
I'm
gives him
making,
that
Greg,
bag.
is that you don't have to go to Alabama, Ohio State, LSU
Yeah.
to show your talent. You can still get fucking first-round talent playing for a school like a shit
Oh.
school like
Just-
UC.
No.
I'm
With
just
a
kidding.
receiver
It's not
though, you
shit.
just gotta. The one thing you want to make sure you do is find you a good quarterback.
No,
If
Chop,
you got a decent quarterback that can get you the ball, because if not, then it's going to be a lot harder pass.
Yeah.
Chop, Khalil Mack came out of Little Buffalo, and he did just fine.
Yep.
But it's much easier to be like, hey, I've watched this team churn out
Right.
first-round picks
Mhm.
every year at this position.
I agree.
You know, and I know that their coach develops guys like this. I know they're going to have a capable quarterback because if not, they'll get another one in there
Well,
at these big schools.
the two best receivers in the NFL both went to the same school, and they played together.
Yeah.
And how
And
about
so if he's looking
two
for wide
receivers?
receiver university, I think I know a place, and
Yeah.
they suck the heads out of crawfish on the weekends. Let's go.
We do that in Columbus because, I mean, Terry McLaurin and Curtis Samuel were two of the best players in the playoffs at wide receiver. It's definitely a reach. I'm reaching.
Right, I got you. Hey, look, man, I'm rooting for McLaurin. Please, God, let's get that guy in the Super Bowl. I'm all down for your Ohio State wide receiver this time. Oh, bye, Derek.
Bye, Derek.
Bye. thanks for stopping by.
But no. Chop brought up the offensive line. I'm going to go back to something. The Bengals offensive line coach. Why haven't the Bengals hired on offense? Do you think they're just kind of waiting it out too?
Who the
Yeah,
fuck
could,
knows?
could be a guy on a team already like this
Listen.
guy. I think Ryan's mentioned the Paganetti or however you say his last name there. I think Ryan can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think I seen something to him the other day. He's the assistant like Eagles O-line coach or somewhere like that. You know, you also got to think maybe it's the Lions assistant O-line coach, or you know
Well,
what I'm saying? It could
Didn't
be
you say they
like
can
that.
they can say names now that are still in the NFL actively playing, right? But they just haven't said anything. And if you ask me, Greg, here's the answer: Bengals doing Bengal shit.
Yeah.
That's the easy
I mean, hell,
answer.
Spagnola had a freaking Zoom call the other day.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, but whatever. I mean, we're going to wait around here and we're going to get, not that Lou was bad, you know what I'm saying? I know I was on board to get rid of him. I'm just saying it's going to be that kind of a hiring where it's not going to be a person that everybody's sitting here, all these names that we mentioned, it's not going to be them. And then last minute, somebody's going to come in. But hopefully they can come in like hot like they did Lou. I mean,
I don't know, man. There's a lot of good D coordinator candidates. Like I said, they have interviewed Graham. Yeah, then he went and interviewed with the Jaguars for their head coach. He's not getting that job. So, I mean, you know, if he was the hire, I'd be happy. Eberflus, who knows if he's had his interview yet, that'd be a good hire. Like we started off this show talking about Jim Leonardo da Vinci.
Yep.
He would be a good hire, in my opinion, the secondary coach for the Broncos, who just finished up their season. We haven't heard anything on Saleh or Dennis Allen connected to the Bengals, but hey, maybe it's one of them ends up being the guy. Maybe they're waiting around on Saleh to see what he does. I don't know. I'm just tossing shit out there.
right.
maybe it is Al Golden from Notre Dame that they're waiting on. I think there's a lot of viable candidates out there. They'd have to really fuck up to not get one of them. Because I do think this is a destination. I mean, Chop, I know they tend to surprise us with how much they can fuck something up.
I know,
sometimes.
but you're right about this being a destination. I mean, this coach coming in as our D coordinator should see like what our offense did. This is what's missing. You got confidence in yourself. You want to show what you can do. Come here to Cincinnati because all we need is the defense. We have the offense. We are ready to go. The Ferrari is in the garage. It started. It's running. It's ready to go. All we need is the Bugatti parked right next to it, and let's go out and have a good time.
And you're going to be on national TV a lot, so you're going to be in prime time.
Mm-hmm.
If you're good at your job and you're coaching the defense up, and as bad as it's been, and we missed the playoffs, even with Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase balling out on offense, and you come in as D coordinator and even are average, you're going to be given such a fucking huge boost for your potential head coaching future again or for the first time, depending who they bring in.
I do want you to come.
Yeah, Chop does want people to
come. Yeah, I'm a very giving
I will
person.
tell you this, though. It sure as shit didn't feel like no fucking destination this week or today. It's cold as shit today.
Yeah, it's gonna be even colder.
I gotta go out.
Yeah.
Hey, Derek, I would never know if it's cold outside. Trust me.
Man, I had to go last night. I went to my sister's house, and my brother-in-law got stuck in the goddamn yard in the ice pack, and Big Fancy to the rescue. Neighbor had a toe strap and pulled him out.
There you
go.
Big Fancy. Shout out Big Fancy.
Chop shouting out his truck.
That's right. Big Fancy coming through.
I have to remember that. If I get stuck, I'll be like, Chop.
You get stuck, call me, Dale. I'll be there in about 2.5 hours with Big Fancy.
Perfect.
I'm going to take a picture with your fucking Miller Lite sign, though, while I'm there.
Hey, that's fine.
Let's take a selfie. Boom, Greg. And that's going to be my fucking profile pic. What's up now? With you and T. Higgins, all best friends. Whatever. I'm taking a sign with Dale's Miller Lite poster.
Taking a sign with Dale's
Hell
Miller
yeah,
Lite
I
picture.
am. It just goes along with the whole thing, Dale. Something I must not even woke up or somebody drugged me while I was sleeping. You're talking NFL. I fucking completely went college, and now this shit. And
all right, Chop.
And it looked like you were drinking a Coca-Cola, and it wasn't even a Miller Lite. What the fuck is going on here?
I should have got some Miller Lite. I mean, when you got this sign and you're at the rescue org and you don't pick up Miller Lite, it was honestly I almost went back in after I put the sign on my car. I was almost like, I should probably go get Miller Lite.
I see the bed back there. I'm not sleeping
man.
on it.
Doing all that.
I'm not sleeping
Nice.
back
By
there
the
on
way,
the bed.
Chuck, nice. I like the
I'm
bed
awake.
setup. I like the bed setup you have.
Yeah, dude. I make my bed every day. You see that? It's so nice.
We're fucking on the Bengals bed, Greg says.
Yeah, you see my little stuffed animal? My Bengals stuffed animal? One of the kids
sure
gave me that. That's right, man. And my quilt that my mom made me.
Oh.
That's right. Rest of the room looks like fucking trash.
So
But
plan
that
is
bed,
to be back on Friday on here at 3:30. If we have a D coordinator hire, we'll see by then.
Yeah, we probably will.
Not really counting on it at this point, but you never know. It could happen. It could come together quickly.
Just make sure, just label Friday show the same exact as this one.
Yeah.
Search
we'll
for the
see.
D coordinator.
And then I think Friday would be good to talk about the Ohio State Notre Dame matchup a little more because that game's on Monday. So we'll just see. Or maybe we wait and talk about that Monday. You never know. You never know what could happen. Maybe we'll have an extension for Trey or T or Jamar. Probably not, but it sounds good, right? Maybe we'll have an O-line coach. Maybe we'll have an O-line coach interview by then because that would be nice to at least hear some fucking names being floated around and who they're thinking about hiring and doesn't
It's
end
free
up just
agency
being
all over again.
Who's that one guy that plays piano? Paul Alexander. Paul Alexander's back.
Thought you were talking about Elton John.
Jim Turner's back as O-line coach.
Yeah.
He didn't get a fair shake the first time.
To be fair, Joe Burrow also plays piano now.
Yeah.
There you go. Him and Paul
Yeah.
Alexander.
So maybe
Paul
that's,
Alexander.
maybe that's a little bonus because it's a little in. You and Joe Burrow can have dueling pianos at the Super Bowl halftime.
I don't, man. I don't really enjoy the fruity beers, Ross. Anybody? I mean, Derek, you're a pretty fruity guy.
Yeah, that's right, Derek.
You ever enjoy a nice peach or apple Busch Light?
I have not had those yet.
Stop
will
on your
say
way
this.
home.
But you know what? All beer sounds really fucking good right now.
Oh, because you're doing dry January.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're almost
there.
halfway through the month. Yeah.
I'm
All
not
right.
doing
Well,
dry January.
appreciate y'all tuning in. It was not on a Monday. It was on a Tuesday. Had some things to take care of on a Monday, so we decided to push it back till Tuesday.
Mhm.
It did not change what we were talking about. We
No.
did not hire a defense coordinator or
Right.
anything yet.
We didn't
so
wait too long.
really didn't make a difference.
No.
But plan is to be back Friday at 3:30. You guys are the best. Appreciate your brew crew as always.